Hello everyone, Metal here, and woo! Starfox, baby! Yeah! Starfox! Let's pitch a brand new Starfox game. Starting off, how should we move forward with this series? Well, I have a couple of ideas. One, we can either boost up a brand new story and keep the tried and true 64 gameplay formula, or we try experimenting and make this into a brand new open venture. I got it. Okay, hear me out. How about we transform this game more than the rail shooter? Kinda like an expanded upon version of Assault. But instead, it's the Mario Odyssey effect. Your usual bombs and your barrel rolls, of course, and your charge shot will make it in this game, but you have new abilities to stand out. And also, a brand new ability. I call this the brand new X-Jets. These flying bad boys have brawling arms in order to get up close to enemy ships and give you an opportunity to execute their ships piece by piece after you defeated them in close combat or aerial combat. It's literally you using your ship to box other ships or enemies. Crazy. I got that from that one anime from Toonami. I was inspired off of the anime called Outlaw Star in order to make these X-Wings come to life. Essentially, the purpose of them is that I want them to look cool, and I also want them to serve a gameplay purpose of you not only being able to do the titular rail shooter sections within this game, but making sure that you are up close and personal with the other ships so that you can, box head to head in close combat, with the drawback of you not being able to outmaneuver your enemies once you do so. It is a risk, but you're mostly going to be using it after you fully almost destroyed them or a surprise attack, basically. Also, check out Outlaw Star. It's really underrated. I am one of those Toonami kids. Oh yeah, and I love Toonami to death, and I used to watch a few episodes of Outlaw Star here and there. So beautiful. Also, the ship designs in that series is just spectacular. Please check out Outlaw Star. It is really, really good. I can kind of imagine that these would go about is that you beat them down, and then it highlights them, and then you tear them apart like the glory kills in Doom 2016. But instead of killing your opponent in very gruesome ways, it's you dismantling their things or slicing their ship in half right after they eject. These are going to be permanently in your ship from the start, and you are going to have to plan out your shots and your movement diligently, because if you go into close combat, then that is a very big risk-reward system that gives you a lot of experience and materials, but your aerial combat will also come with caveats too, just like in the other games. And given the many different ships that will try to slice your arms off for a short time before you repair it back, you're gonna have to resort to aerial combat if things get dire. The boys will have different effects on their ships too. Fox will be the neutral pick, basically the soldier from TF2, where they're flexible and they're very maneuverable and neutral and stuff. Falco has a faster ship but less strength. Peppy has more strength and less speed, and Slippy will be fast. But you have to mix and manage a gadget system personalized to him in order to outmaneuver your opponents and use your gadgets well. I'm imagining the gadget system for Slippy will be unique to himself, and it'll be like the charm system from Hollow Knight, I would say. But it won't be as expansive as that, probably like 5 charms max for you to get as you adventure as Slippy, but who knows. Each one of the boys will never be lagging behind, and you can always change your stats via a shop, making sure that you can earn credits and getting different custom stickers, skins, colors, or even gadgets. It's your choice. As for traversing the planets themselves, this is where the fun begins. Just like the Starfall Islands from Frontiers or the layers from Donkey Kong Bonanza or Odyssey's Kingdoms, you can practically fast travel or go play as the pilots themselves and fly throughout space like in No Man's Sky and just zip to a planet after another, which you did in Starlink. And what I mean about the Mario Odyssey effect is that on the ground level, I want it to be more like an expressive platformer, where you have your wall runs, your dash ability can move into a sprint, kind of like a lot of expressive platformers like Demon Tides and fast-paced platformers like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk or Jet Set, where essentially in this game, you get to do the levels however you want. And just like in Odyssey, you can platform however you want and play buttery smoothly, and you never feel like you're going slow on the ground. Now, I want to make sure that the gameplay from Assault, as well as the original 64 game, remains in this one. Kinda. Why? Because I firmly believe that Assault and even 64 is probably the best way that these games have ever played, personally. As well as not having you collect over 999 moons from Odyssey. That's definitely the big change that hopefully won't be added in here if it ever gets made. Well, then again, I actually did like collecting a lot of moons, since in most Star Fox games, you never really go that fast on the ground. So that changes here, with platforming in here too. Not like Star Fox's Adventures' thing where they took a whole Zelda approach, but an expressive platformer approach where you can perform platforms in any type of way. Just look at Demon Tides or many expressive platformers on Steam. Like, shout out to The Big Catch. God, I love that game. It's something along the lines of that style of expressive platforming, I would say, is very much needed in this game with how many of the characters will control it. Fox is more neutral on the ground, Slippy is more gadget heavy, Falco is more speedy, but not as powerful, and Peppy is a lot more tank-like, but still maneuverable. And then Krystal will also be this way too, but with a bit of ice powers and a bit of magic here and there. Ooh. Mostly because she's probably going to be the one that teaches you about the ground level gameplay and a tutorial in the first place to let you get to know your surroundings and roam around wherever you so choose.
A quick little side note here, but since Krystal wasn't in Starfox Zero, this game is basically going to be her introduction for the first time in this new soft reboot-esque thing.
Also, yes, there's rail grinding in this game. Just saying, if your game doesn't have rail grinding, it's gonna be a little slow. So yeah, rail grinding in this game basically helps you get to places faster. Or you can use your ship to fly around. Also, you definitely are able to wall run in this game too. The platforming is very much like Odyssey's, where you hop onto walls and you also wall run with your dash. And I wanted to acknowledge that fact because wall running and rail grinding honestly are kind of needed in this game. Mostly because it'll be really cool to have a lot more people just do whatever they want in this game, and I want to incentivize that. Fox will come out of his ship and run and shoot to fight monsters and robots and even collect money from the planets, as well as items and resources as well, on boots on the ground gameplay. It's gonna look sick running and gunning. Also, the heal rings will be a bit tinier from the usual fuel rings too. They'll increase your health on the boots in the ground gameplay, while they're a lot more bigger in aerial combat. And you want to know what's even better? The people buying our $90 accessories? Nintendo, I really hope that you saw videos of people's disappointment within the prices or people's stuff about what bad decisions you've been making recently, so I'm just gonna leave you alone. Screw greedy Nintendo. You get to fly your Star Wing and transform it into the Ground Walker and Landmaster forms on the fly. And with the X-Wings, they can also transform into the Landmaster and the Walkers as well, but with robot arms for you to beat up anybody to your pleasure. Giving your Walker arms. These will be mostly used for puzzles on the land if you get stuck, or explore more of the land to get more map pieces, or you just use it for aerial combat, or just listening to the music, staying still, your choice. And this game over time is going to get ruthless too. They're going to disable your stuff, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. You will have to gun them down in order to do some good old payback. And as for the combat, there's going to be a lot of thieves coming in your way and pirates raiding you on any planet that you have gone to, and they can even disable your ship for a short time to basically take you out into the action, out of your comfort zone from time to time. There will also be a multiplayer mode where you play minigames with your friends as well as fighting each other. Like the multiplayer from Starfox Assault, but this time your ship has arms so you can box your friends. You can even play with a second player in the main single player too, but I don't know if I'll have them be like a drone rider, kind of like R2-D2, that's kind of like on your ship. And frankly, I don't even know if the Switch 2 can also handle 2 players in a single player multiplayer game, given Bonanza. Heck it. You know what? I was very convinced and thorough when I saw the online multiplayer mod in Sonic Frontiers, so the possibilities are endless. Get on that, Nintendo. As for the environments, they're all going to be completely new. Like, here's some examples. A snowy, acidic world, where if every ice crystal that you smash, it's potentially going to backfire your ship and you if you crack them open. Basically damaging you if you're not far away. A techno plant world, like looking like the coolest level in Sonic Forces, comes to mind too, which would look sick. And even a planet warped in space and time that you have to traverse through warping holes and burrowing into the very planet's core. The enemies will be scouting enemies, flying enemies, and stronger shelled enemies where you have to parry with those big arms of yours, or parry yourself on the ground to use a lot of your handheld bombs and or shooting charge shots and dashes to get behind them and defeat them. You can even do puzzles on foot too, as well as, well, I don't know if this is necessary, but a photo mode. Yes, that is right. You're obviously going to get a photo mode in this game, and I can take it either way. It can be as the photo mode from Odyssey or Bonanza, or it can be as really in-depth from Spider-Man 2. I don't mind either or. On another note, the final portion of the section is a bit of a mixed bag in my head, because it's kind of complicated to really think about, and that's the boss fights in this game. Because Starfox has a very unique way of boss fights in the series, where they're mostly aerial combat or Zelda bosses. So it's pretty tricky, but I don't think it's as tricky as I'm making it out to be. Unless I choose to take and choose which one fits. I guess ground level mini bosses could be a thing. Kind of like Frontiers' ninjas and the other mini bosses that game has. You can even climb on them if you so choose and are playing well. And the main bosses for this game honestly would be either a mix between ground level Titan fights from Frontiers or even the 64 flying bosses in space of old. But with you punching it in the face in space. I think all the above. Let's do all the above, just to be safe. Utilizing the puzzles more closely by getting in close and taking them apart one by one is also going to be a main factor of these bosses too, if they're big. And also testing your brain and your skills as the player from what you come up with is the best boss fights that you can also do as well. So that's pretty good. I think the main thing about these bosses is that you have to outsmart them, and that's very much the good formula on how a good boss fight is like, you know. It's a shame that Star Fox Adventures tried that with Zelda's bosses, but didn't really fully understand how or why Zelda bosses worked in the first place, so. Anywho, and yes, every main boss of this game will lead up into a very hype moment, or cutscene or interval. Basically, before you fight a mechanical bird-like ship on the ground, there will be a lot of earthquakes and a lot of shifting rocks in the mountains, basically building up slowly as you uncover more stuff on the planet. And then it'll shift the very rocks from the mountains after you collected a certain amount. And basically, the very people that built that said boss, and this is a hypothetical thing here, would literally go inside said mountain and transform within it to become a mole-like creature. A bird transforming into a mole and vice versa. Basically, being on land, being in the sky. Planet aerial combat. Crazy. And you have to chase it too. And you're not also restricted on just flying in space too. You can also fight them out of your ship too, but I will warn you, it's going to be very difficult. This, as well as the whole gameplay that I came up with, is much more akin to the bosses in Bonanza or Frontiers, but for Star Fox, because where you're free to do whatever you want on any planet that you go, you have to be very wary because they might be lurking within the planet itself. Also, there's a total of 7 planets to go to, as well as smaller extra planets to test your skills and small challenges within your ship or your footwork. Possibly 10 given the other side story that I have planned later on in this video. God, Star Fox is such a cool freaking series, man. And yet, Nintendo can't barely tell what they had if they freaking killed them. Please, Nintendo, please bring back Star Fox. Please, and even a proper Mario Kart, please? Please, I need this. No, give us $100 for a new Virtual Boy and get eye strain and migraines, baby. Give us $20 for DLC for Bonanza and give us more of your wallet. Bye, bye, bye. You're making me kinda homeless. I'm just a little peeved about greedy business practices. I still respect Miyamoto, Sakurai, and Reggie and stuff, though, and the creative teams in the studios that gave us these games in the first place. Support creatives, I say. Support true creatives that care about us instead of corporate businesses. Also, I can tell that Miyamoto himself really, really loves his babies and his creations like Pikmin and Mario. And obviously he still loves Star Fox, so I can't stay mad. Anywho, what else do we have? For the misc section, obviously fast travel will be available within this game, where you can fast travel through the planets like the 64 game, a menu prompt and all. And I can also imagine the mapping system would be like 64's like polygonal style, where the HUD and the map is all polygonal and Nintendo 64 like, while the in-game stuff is more high fidelity. That could be fun. Also, you can be able to look into logbooks within the menu here alongside your map, and basically these logbooks will catalog the fauna, the characters within your journey, as well as the creatures that you encounter. And hey, maybe even audio logs of Star Fox's crew and maybe even Star Wolf's crew as well. Just showcasing what their lives are like outside of their respective teams of Star Wolf or Corneria and the Great Fox. Also, yes, this also applies to the bosses as well. Even hinting at their backstories, like the Kirby games' pause screens and stuff. Dang it, now I want HAL Laboratories to work on a new Star Fox game. Anywho, the skins in this game will be very small, but if they're able to get skins for Donkey Kong and obscure skins for Mario Odyssey in a wide selection, I'm sure that they can do it for the Star Fox crew. Not just Fox, the whole crew. There will be very obscure references towards the SNES games' designs, being their OG designs, as well as Star Wolf's gear, classic polygonal skins, like in Odyssey, and also even maybe newer skins as well that ties into the finale of the game, possibly like a few tracksuits or something out from their vests, or an original design that they have in this game possibly. And hey, maybe throw in the Starfox Zero's designs in here too. If they go for a brand new redesign for Star Fox in this game, potentially, maybe. Which they probably might do, but hey, I wouldn't mind if they used the Zero designs, so. And finally, we can have also final planetary space astronaut skins that represents the final planet that you go to in the game, where they're fully decked out on astro gear in order to protect themselves from, well, the story of the game, which I have planned to. Or even more obscure skins from Star Fox Command. Oh, I just got a migraine. Or puppet skins. Man, that would be so silly for them to just be all woolly, like Yoshi, and be like puppets, referencing their inception of being puppets originally, in order to translate into their character designs in game, and ugh. Also, and this is right in the tail end here, but I want an explorable Great Fox hub. Make it into a collection room, baby. The Great Fox is your Mushroom Kingdom from Odyssey, and you can also walk through the halls of it or room of it to change your skins from it to listen to awesome tunes from Star Fox's past or the game soundtrack itself via a jukebox, baby. The Great Fox is your Mushroom Kingdom hub area, kind of like in Mario 64. You can even interact with your crew, like Frontiers or even Bonanza style interactions. And you can even high-five them or even fist bump them, and even talk to Star Wolf in custody if you get to them and defeat them. God, I love collection rooms. More games should have collection rooms. You also have to save here too, by going to bed or just doing the pause screen to autosave immediately if you're on a planet. No big deal. You can even change your characters in this game too, like changing Fox to Krystal, or even Peppy, Falco, anyone. Even Katt. Oh, you thought that I forgot about Katt? Well, sucks to be you. I wonder if I have any Katt fans in the audience. Because I'm one of them. Which all play pretty much almost the same, but like I said before, some have unique differences on foot. Like Falco being faster runner, or even Slippy having a lot of gadgets, like I said before, and also healing items too, like a DPS in Marvel Rivals. but it's on foot and a toad. The music would honestly be very atmospheric, I would say. I have no doubt that Koji Kondo or another composer that, or the composers or sound team that did Odyssey or Bonanza will work wonders on this futuristic and out of their comfort zone hype factor type soundtrack. If only they could actually make the bosses like the Titan boss themes in Frontiers. I would be so happy. God, that would be so hype and cool. But that probably won't happen though. But one can dream. Please, please, Starfox devs, Nintendo, please, Miyamoto, please, Metalcore boss themes, or even Bonanza's style boss themes, please, Frontiers Titan boss themes, please, I beg. The animations will be fitting for each character, like their idols will represent who they are, and also their ships will even have cool animations while they're idle too. And when things get casual, the characters will interact with the environment and even doze off to sleep because they're just too cool. Falco is so cool. And when things get serious, or if they're at a low health or anything, then we see them get injured and react how serious that they should take the situation that they're in. Battle damage and all. This is pretty much every extra thing that I wanted to cover for this game, gameplay-wise. I didn't want to overcomplicate anything or put in too much stuff. Basically, what I'm going for is that this game is the grand old return into Star Fox's world, and it is trying to move forward for the series and hopefully step away from a Star Fox 64 while respecting what it did to benefit the series. Alright. I've been waiting for this. Let's get on to the good stuff. The story for this game. I've dubbed this game's title to be called Starfox Galaxy. Once upon a time, within the Lilat system, a group known as Starfox was able to defeat the evil Andros, banishing him into the void, never to be seen again. Years later, the boys find themselves hanging around in Corneria, spending their lives happily with their friends, possibly being interested in other avenues. But tragedy struck when an unknown planet was picked up by the Great Fox. Rob sent Starfox the distress signal to investigate, and the team is now in pursuit towards this odd planet of sorts, and its effects on the edge of the Lilat system. Good luck, Starfox. Where am I? Well, wherever I am, I need to act fast. The boys will be worried. Falco's gonna give me an earful. Can't wait for that. Our story continues in a soft continuation of either Starfox Zero or possibly even 64. Choose however one you would like and stuff, since it doesn't really matter. Where the crew within the Great Fox are going towards an unknown planet. As they turn the ship around, they spot new planets out of their alignment. Rob points out that these planets were never here, never even marked on this quadrant before. Fox and his team were foreseeing this, and he huddles up with the team to create a plan to research these planets instead of the typical space action. Falco makes a bet to Fox, and he says that he can outmaneuver him in a race towards the first planet they spot. He takes him in on that offer, and Peppy and Slippy follow behind. As they get their ships repaired, this is where you start the game. A tutorial section where Falco challenges you to a race to outmaneuver him. You can even win or lose in this, making Falco happy if he wins, or making him angry if you win and beat him. Speedrunners be like. Fox loses control of his ship and you accidentally crash land on the first planet of the game. Throughout this venture, Fox survives and goes outside to fix his ship, letting you learn how to maneuver on the ground and fight enemies in a quick fashion. Your moves consist of shooting, charge shots, punching and kicking like in Sonic Frontiers, and throwing smaller bombs, possibly taking cues from his moveset from Smash Brothers, as well as letting you have a dash ability from his down special. This is the beginning of the Starfox portion of the story, and there will be a side story to this game that you can unlock after completing the main game or completing this part of the story, where there will be a Starwolf side story where you can play as Wolf and his gang. This is basically a story where you break out of jail from Corneria and hijack multiple ships with your crew to take revenge on Starfox. It's kind of like Meta Nightmare from the Kirby series, like from Kirby Planet Robobot or even Superstar Ultra. And yes, the voice actors of these characters will remain the same as in Starlink Battle for Atlas. They honestly did such a great job there. They're so underrated and really fun and really made their characters into their own. Does anybody remember Starlink? I thought so. Anyway, the same gameplay applies to Starwolf's team, but they'll only traverse Corneria and a brand new big planet that transports them to parts of the planets that you visit. I imagine that the beginning of the story would literally allow you to walk over to their cells right when they get detained. And then a time skip will happen, and then they'll eventually break out, like I said, and they would even encounter Starfox, and just like Sonic vs. Shadow from SA2, or dare I say Knuckles in Sonic 3, you get to fight Starwolf, just like in the old games, either in aerial combat since they'll make different appearances here and there as mini-bosses, or on the ground level in some instances. So back to the main story. After completing your repaired ship by gathering the parts through your planet and its puzzles for making you complete the map, you hop inside of your own repaired ship and gather the distress signal. This kind of reminds me of Pikmin now that I think about it. There's definitely going to be you going through a lot of stuff, and you're definitely going to go through the planets as well, playing as Starwolf. It's like Meta Nightmare where you're going through time trials in order to get to the checkpoint, in order to go back to space to get away from Corneria. Simply the police just chasing after you and such. I sadly haven't put in too much depth within Starwolf's campaign here, but I personally think that it would be really fun regardless if this mode were to exist, and I just really think that most of us just really like playing as the villain. I don't know. You finally meet the main villain of the game, who watches Fox from a far distance from the first planet from where you were. He is an evil vulture-like humanoid being named Victor Buzzword. Yes, he is original. That wants nothing but to steal and collect the ships and rare items across the galaxy from whomever comes across his path. Meaning that his purpose is to see stuff that he wants and just takes them. Takes them, steals them, however much he likes. Storing them in his own collection room. He pilots the ginormous Great Buzzword Ovia, where this collector is using it to find a very valuable space-time artifact, causing these rips and holes in space and time within the nearby last planet of the game. Now, Victor is a very interesting case in this game, and what I want him to be is the pure embodiment of a scalper. Like, you know how scalpers in real life are literal man children that literally freeze the moment you steal something from their cart, or just overall kind of scumbags where they just hog all the fun and everything for a higher price or a collection. Victor is like that. But what I want him to be in this game is essentially he's collecting these planets after either stealing them from some people's ownership, as well as ancient artifacts out of people's ownership, stealing them, finding them, and then grabbing them, jacking up their prices, and not really doing much with them and preserving them, because he wants to resell them and preserve them for himself. Essentially, he wants to preserve their legacy in order to rise up their value in the future, so that he would be the one to be able to make legends in the future that people will talk about, as well as getting money in the process for some that he doesn't want to have anymore. He's like a scalper, or people selling stuff to museums, or toy collectors, or comic or Pokemon card printers and protectors and collectors, because he just wants to make legacies for future generations while getting a dollar and a dime for himself, so that his name can be forever remembered. That is until he discovers something that is completely out of his control within this game's final section. Essentially, with him, I just wanted to talk about scalper culture and how that expands upon the whole greedy story within Bonanza in a more modern and different take than the usual greed is bad type story beat. I love how Bonanza depicted greed in a lot of aspects in that game, under Nintendo of all companies. And I just wanted to take that to the next level with Victor, where he represents a different type of greed. Legacy greed. Scalping. He enlists many pirates from across the galaxy and also disturbs nature to make the animals come after you, as well as the mini-bosses, and activating them from his collection room to come after you, as well as steal your tech so that they can keep the rest, or he can just snag them, just keep them getting dust. Basically, he's just threatening to kill all of your team members if you do not cooperate, you know? At this point, you can switch your characters, and after they save your life, of course, you basically go through a back and forth with Victor and his goons across the entire game, and going through many character moments with your team. Like, for example, in the middle of the story, Fox gets captured, and Falco has to lead the team for a short while. And honestly, I can imagine that already happening, so why not visualize it? While I find a way out of here, I want you boys to find that distress signal source. Victor is out there somewhere. I can't let him know that I have company on my tail. Fox out.
I will keep a close eye on Fox in a secret communication channel. Make sure not to cause a ruckus while I'm gone, alright?
Typical Fox. Always hogging the fun.
I found the signal! It's coming from that last planet. Given the shape of it, I say we need to focus on seeing what we can handle first. That sounds like fun.
This is why you are my favorite toad, pal. Adios, amigos. Hey, keep your distance. We're the leaders once Fox is out and about. Just follow our lead. Darn it.
Think of it this way. We get to be a lot more free-flying with this venture.
Alright, y'all. Follow me. And try not to eat my space dust. Better come back here, Fox. I want to showcase that the crew of Starfox should be the center point of this game. Whether it be Falco, Peppy, Slippy. I want them to go through their own separate arcs in here, while highlighting a lot of the more integral aspects of their dynamic and chemistry being slightly outside their comfort zone within this one. What Falco is essentially doing here is that he's very capable of leading the team in his own unique way, but there are some instances where he doesn't really have that refinement or that steady hand like Fox has, and realizes that at some point he sometimes needs him in vital moments. Not all the time, but in those moments. Like rescuing him from Victor, and also making some quips here and there, and pointing out the dichotomy that they both have with a friendly rivalry dynamic that they're best known for. So essentially what he would be doing is right after he rescues Fox is that he'll shake his hand in the process and congratulate him, and then Fox will congratulate Falco once he returns to the ship of his diligent leadership skills, as well as Peppy. Let's move quickly. Victor is out there in the South Quadrant somewhere.
You know, I have been meaning to spend some time with you off mission.
As much as I would like to, I think we should save the soft stuff till later. Wouldn't want to let our guard down.
You are such a sight for sore eyes, Fox. We could kill some time here. Good to slow things down a little.
Slow down, huh?
I will sense where Victor's next move will be and let you know even a hint of his power nearby. But before that happens, I want to make sure I see what this planet has to offer. For the team, more research, the works.
Alright.
Make sure not to get distracted now. You can trust me.
Alright. I'm not gonna stop you.
Let me know if you just want to go someplace together, by ourselves sometime.
Let's lay low just this once.
Try to keep up.
Now you're speaking my language. Or Slippy, going through a bit of a self-identity crisis, and how he gets anxious when Fox tells him to go out and about and do some repairs or just study his opponents, And again, I'm not going to have Slippy mentally break down or anything. I'm just going to have him just doubt his own confidence. And the main theme of this is essentially them just not really, being there for Fox. And what if they'll spin to failure? The looming thought of failure within their future is what I want to showcase here, and it's subtle. And I want to make sure that Slippy is through and through capable in doing what he's doing best. And essentially, he's going to go through a self-identity crisis, and he gets anxious when Fox tells him to work on repairs or help him out on missions, because one day he might fail and have more people make fun of him, only for Fox to tell him that he is the most important member of the team by doing stuff that they sometimes won't be able to do, like double-checking stuff or understanding the ship's complexities within the game, and how to beat the bosses. That place gave me a hint on who we're dealing with. But, yeah, pretty nifty.
Nifty, huh?
Not bad for a rescue, I say.
Oh, sorry. Fox?
Huh?
Am I doing good for the team?
Of course, buddy. Why do you ask?
Well, I just wanted to know if or I won't mess up again when it comes to this. It's a lot, and I don't want to let you or the others down because of it.
It is going to be hard, but I believe that we can push through, bud.
But I guess I just get lost in thought sometimes during missions. I just don't want to make something you guys will regret.
We stick together, Slippy. I know how much you are important to all of us. Heck, I wouldn't have survived if your tips hadn't come in handy. You are strong in your own way. Never forget that, buddy.
Really? Thank you, Fox. Heck yeah! I'm not gonna let some mission get me down.
We just gotta see what else is out there. Together. Or Falco would be the one to do it. Peppy going through a bit of a retiree arc would also be essential in this game too. Basically what I want him to be in this game is that I want him to kinda still think about the past, and he kinda stays in that past in his own way, and essentially he's gonna be the driving force of the main problem of this series being stuck in the past, where he kinda wishes that he was with his old crew and he was with the new crew doing adventures and saving the galaxy from evil threats, and basically representing Starfox Zero and its failure and how inconsistent he is with the past and his own character just being stuck in it, and he wants to move on. So as he sees you going through the game as it progresses, we have a cutscene. He sees his crew move forward with their lives, but not him. So he lets go of the past and sees this opportunity to move forward with a new generation from his old traditional values, and puts it kindly that he still respects Fox's father for being able to make such a fine crew come to life in his future. Basically putting on the new confidant that Fox from now on truly is his father, right then and here. Starwolf will also go through these scenes as well within their side story, possibly a cutscene where we see Starwolf's dynamic and how they treat each other. kind of like the Decepticons from Transformers Prime, where they just kind of bicker and they're just jerks to one another, but they're a bit of a doofus type family. But with malicious intent, of course. Krystal and her squad will also be here too, right when possibly rescuing Fox when he gets kidnapped becomes a mission at some point. And even Rob will get a moment where he blasts through Victor's ship as a warning to allow everyone to go and help out, instead of just being in the sidelines. That'll only happen in the far end of the game, and we'll get to it. After the middle of the game, we get to the final part, where the Starfox crew goes into the Great Fox with Krystal and her crew to find out what this last planet holds. And suddenly, Starwolf crosses over them at this point, and they instigate a fight yet again, with them an aerial assault battle, and this will lead to them adhorning the gripping mechanisms from the X-Wings, and basically you'll go through a boxing match type smackdown deal in aerial combat, switching from close combat like Smash Bros style aerial ship movements and or the tried and true aerial combat from 64. And we slash and crash our mechanical arms into their own X-blades, and we get interactions between Wolf and Fox with how their cycle of that rivalry will never end, and just a lot of hype moment cutscenes within here sprinkled in too, like lots of flips and somersaults within ships beheld here. But as always, Starfox defeats all of them for yet another time, and they go into a standstill.
You really are persistent with Fox. Why can't you just leave them alone?
Boss, what do? We can't get to Victor in a time like this. I have to give you credit, Fox. You really know how to push my buttons. Stand down and go turn yourselves into Corneria's prison. Don't make me do anything rash, Wolf. I know you. Never stop this, Fox. I certainly won't. Let's circle back, boys. Wait, but sir... Victor is our priority, as well as that warp item. What the? Huh? Slippy? After this scene, thus begin Victor's grand magnum opus. He reveals that he awoke something that even he couldn't describe. This being only a hand reaching out from a star. And he realizes this is not an artifact. This is a sleeping, immoving, unknown entity. Thus begins the final boss, where this entity reaches into Victor's ship and uses it as a vessel, giving Victor power and the ability to command and combine with this entity and to take over the Lilat system, as well as to collect every single planet in the universe. This final boss is a pure flying section where you go through 3 phases of Victor's ship, and after each destroyed ship, not only does Rob tries his best to repair Wolf's ship and Krystal ship and her gang's ships, you lead the charge to go after and stop Victor yourself as Fox. But after the second phase, this being molds and transforms the ship into one giant bird. This being roars into the darkness of space with tendrils stretching out as its talons, not making a single sound as it obliterates part of the Great Fox itself. And so, Starfox Wolf joins forces to put a stop to this entity once and for all. The warp and balance of the planets after saving denizens from the side missions come back in forms of spirits and other ships joining you as the fight progresses to seal away this giant Lovecraftian bird and or being back into the eternal slumber of which it came, with shooting charge shots in it and pushing it back with all your might. And Fox, Wolf, and Krystal are essentially given the task to rescue a still alive Victor getting ejected out of it after it got sealed away and sent to prison within the Great Fox itself, after being restored and repaired, of course, locking him up for good, and mutually agreeing to acknowledge how much that they helped out each other out of desperation, and Wolf couldn't stand it. So, you're a good guy or what? You certainly have a sense of humor. Just as I thought. Once a wolf, always a wolf. Listen here, Falco. I have you know that Wolf knows when the situation escalates. Yeah, tell that to your butt kicking.
We weren't the ones desperate, right, Peppy?
We will meet again. You hear?
At least I didn't betray you this time. Good one.
Next time, Wolf, you'll be back in Corneria. I wouldn't want to have anyone else do the same. If you will catch me.
Those are fighting words. I'll get to you first if Fox doesn't.
Let's go, boys. Round up your gear and let's head to Venom.
How are you feeling?
Maybe Wolf was right. What if this is an endless cycle?
Fox.
Don't let the words get to you, my boy. When all else happens, we'll be by your side, unfortunately.
I'm here as well, Fox.
Of course.
Ooh, the general is calling us. I'll pick it up for you guys.
Right behind you, Slippy.
Call if you need me to save your sorry butt again.
I know for certain that you'll love it.
You are such a goof.
And that was pitching a new Star Fox game. I'm very happy that you guys have watched it this far into the video. It took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me. I tried to make up a lot of ideas that I had in my head that is possible for the Switch 2. And given Bonanza came out and it was a phenomenal game, I have full certainty that Star Fox will be the same, but given Star Fox's climate right now, I don't think that'll be a possibility. What's this? Woo! Yeah, baby! Star Fox is back! Oh my god! In the Mario film, but woo! Ow!